Welcome to Madison City Channel's Know Your Candidate interviews, co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Dane County. My name is Shel Gross. I'm your interviewer. I would like to introduce Regina Vidaver, running for Dane County Executive. As we begin, I'd like you to give an opening statement as to the educational, vocational, and civic experience you have, which qualifies you for this office, and why you are running for Dane County Executive.
Great. Well, thank you for doing this, first of all. I appreciate the opportunity. So I am Regina Vidaver. I'm the scientist, public health professional, and experienced leader running to be your Dane County Executive. Now, 2 days before my 15th birthday, my father died of pancreatic cancer. The cancer was advanced by the time they found it, but he was stubborn. When he was given just a month to live, he actually survived for 4 months to finish out his final semester as a professor at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, which is where I grew up. His passing made me want to be part of the cure. I aspired to become a cancer researcher. That's what brought me to UW-Madison to do my PhD in molecular biology. That's also where I met my husband. But with experience comes learning, and while I learned that the lab was not for me, I became passionate about science policy, particularly how science is used and often ignored in policy-making decisions. Now, I serve the state in the Division of Public Health, overseeing chronic disease and cancer prevention programs, managing a budget of over $45 million and over 60 people. I also serve on the Madison City Council, where I put my collaborative leadership skills to the test for my community. On council, my leadership prioritizes coalition building by bringing diverse voices to the table. With this approach, I led efforts to create a $0 loan program to increase access to childcare, championed initiatives to reduce our carbon footprint, and finalized plans for the Madison public market. I've also pushed for the expansion of the CARES team, which sends behavioral health professionals instead of police to appropriate calls. Dane County is growing rapidly and facing significant challenges that require a collaborative, effective leader to work creatively with partners across Dane County to address our most pressing needs. With a data and results-driven approach, we can prioritize affordable and abundant housing, invest in mental health, and increase access to healthy, nutritious food, all while protecting our precious lakes and agricultural lands. As your next county executive, I pledge to bring my collaborative, effective, data-driven leadership skills to make Dane County a place where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
Are there steps you think the county should take to increase the amount of affordable housing in Dane County?
Absolutely. We have a 17-point strategy that was recently released from the Dane County Regional Housing Strategy. And my goal is to implement all 17 of those strategies. And those include increasing the Affordable Housing Fund, land banking, increasing monies to be able to make energy efficiencies in our naturally occurring affordable housing, zoning updates, and other approaches. Those are all approaches that are going to help us both increase the availability and affordability of housing across our county.
Thank you. How would you increase the efficiency and fairness of the Dane County justice system?
That is a great question. And there are many efforts underway. We have a number of efforts, including restorative justice court, diversion courts, where we are going to taking folks who have substance use disorder problems and taking them out of the court system. We're also doing things that are keeping people from ever entering the justice system, like the CARES program, which started in Madison, and my goal is to expand that throughout the county. So again, that is a program that sends trained behavioral health specialists instead of police to appropriate calls. So folks never enter the system. We also want to make sure that folks are getting care. So the Crisis Stabilization Center that will be coming online, that is absolutely critical that we move forward. And then, it's getting to those root issues, whether we're talking about housing, economic opportunity, childcare. These are all things that are going to reduce the effect of people having issues in their lives that lead them into criminal activity. And so we want to, again, really work on those root causes to reduce those impacts in the area and go to trying to keep people out of the system, as well as giving them the help they need once they enter the system.
The Crisis Resource Center and expansion of the CARES program outside of Madison have been proposed as ways to address the needs of individuals with mental illnesses. Do you believe there are further actions the county should take to address mental health issues?
So I want to, again, stress the importance of those two. Those are absolutely critical. They are not all we can and should do. So again, what we're doing to try to improve people's lives just on the basis of it, whether it's getting them housing, getting them childcare, getting them to have economic security, whether it's getting them training in our trades, getting educational attainment. Those are all important things that help reduce the impact of mental health burden. I think there are opportunities for us to really streamline the efforts of the county and our point of service agencies. We have a lot of fantastic entities doing really good work in our community, and sometimes they're stepping on each other's toes. And we want to try to prevent that by really clearly establishing what is in this entity's swim lane and what is in this entity's swim lane, and making sure that they're really reaching their maximum potential. So we're serving all of the people of the county with the resources that we have to our very best ability.
Concerns continue about noise abatement related to the presence of F-35 fighter jets and PFAS pollution at the airport. What would you seek to do about these concerns if elected?
So first, I want to just say that as a public health professional, I would never want to have the F-35s in a city. I don't think they belong here. And I think it's very unfortunate that Madison was chosen as the site for those planes. There are definitely efforts underway, both by developers who are developing new housing that are not within the 65 decibel range, but just outside of it, to try to do noise abatement for the new housing. We cannot require it, but it is something that is strongly suggested, and that so far developers have been amenable to helping with. There are also efforts to, over the long term, move the runway. That will take time, that will take collaboration both with state and federal partners, and that will be the best solution to the presence of the F-35s, but that will take time. In relation to PFAS, so we need to recognize that this is everywhere in our environment. It is ubiquitous. And there are two things that are most important. One is keeping it out of our drinking water. And so the first thing that we're doing there is making sure our wells are clean. So in Madison, well 15 we're undergoing a process to remove the PFAS from that well so that that drinking water is clean for folks who use it. And then it's harm reduction. So making sure that folks know that if they're fishing in our lakes, that they should be having a minimized amount of consumption of those fish so that they do not over take in PFAS materials. But it is also something that we have to just continue to work on to make sure that people know where it is in the environment and what they can do to their best of their ability to avoid it.
The racial disparities in Dane County are varied and widespread. What specific actions would your administration address to start unwinding these discrepancies?
So it's really important for folks to recognize that these are issues that have been with us since the founding of our country. And so they're not going to be something that we can set aside in any one entity's term. They take all of us working collaboratively together. So there are several things that we are doing and can do even more. So when we think about our maternal and infant mortality disparities, we have very high death rate for Black babies, unfortunately. There are efforts underway to work on this that is collaborative with our health systems, with our organizations in the community and with the county. Those efforts are currently underway. They are too soon to be evaluated. So it's going to be really important that we evaluate them and understand if where the resources are being put, if they're working out and giving us the results that we want. I have been an advocate for increasing funding to our public health department to make sure that they are fully staffed to be able to meet the needs of families across our county. We also do need to work on childcare access because, as we know, that if we have an educational disparity, it starts well before the children enter school age. So we need to make sure children have access to quality, affordable, high quality childcare, as well as out of school time so that they have great resources for them and are able to engage in those resources rather than other things that are not productive for their time. We also need to work on how we're doing down payment assistance programs, ensuring that folks have access to wealth building. We need to increase investments in, again, the early childhood education. And then another program that I think we really need to engage with is the guaranteed income program. So this is something that Madison undertook and Dane County Executive Parisi signed on to, but has not yet begun. And I think that is an opportunity for us to really push the needle forward to be able to make it so that folks have the opportunity to get to that place of being able to have some economic security so that they can take that next step, whether it's an education or, a new place to live or, getting the childcare that they need or what have you. So I'm very interested in moving forward with guaranteed income and putting that program in place for the county.
Please describe any other priorities for your time in office and how you would propose to fund them.
The funding is always the hard part, right? So certainly we want to make sure that tourism is high in our area because one thing the county has is the benefit of a sales tax. And that sales tax, the more that we are bringing in sales tax, the less we have to rely on folks and their property taxes. It's also really critical that we have a capital improvement plan. That is something that is lacking right now in the county and needs to be put in place so that we know what we are going to be spending on in terms of large capital projects and so that we can budget accordingly. We also need to make sure, again, that we are focusing on affordable housing, focusing on childcare access, sustainable transportation. We have opportunities to develop park and rides, really think creatively about how we can put our transportation system in place, even without the benefit of a regional transit authority, and be ready for that when we get that opportunity. So that opportunity may come in the coming years, and we need to be ready to implement that. Disaster preparedness is obviously always something that needs to be brought forward, as we have seen, not just with COVID, but also with tornadoes and major storms. And that is going to be something that continues in the future. That is a place where I bring tremendous strength. Having run 2 emergency responses at the Division of Public Health, I am tested and will be able to help make sure that we are on track with our emergency preparedness as a county.
Finally, what would you like to say to the viewing audience as we complete this interview?
Certainly. I hope what you've heard has helped you understand a bit more about who I am and what I bring to the table. And what I want to leave you with is the knowledge that the position of Dane County Executive is an executive management position, and I bring that experience in spades. With 25 departments to oversee, you need someone with the management experience to be able to oversee people, programs, and budgets while ensuring that your tax dollars are spent on the priorities that make all of our lives better. You also need someone who puts your health and your future first. With my background in science and public health, you can be assured that I will spend all day, every day, working to make sure Dane County has the resources and systems in place to ensure everyone has the opportunity to thrive. And I invite folks to learn more and join my campaign at reginafordane.com and work with me for a sustainable, equitable, and vibrant future for Dane County.
I want to thank Regina for speaking with us and thank the viewing audience for taking the time to know your candidates. I want to remind everyone that primary election day is Tuesday, August 13th, and the general election is Tuesday, November 5th. Every election is important. Please vote. On behalf of Madison City Channel and the League of Women Voters of Dane County, I thank you for joining us.